There are lots of advantages to being a senior, but usually one of them is not being able to see better. This discussion is going to be about how to do things on your computer so you can see your screen better. There are a variety of ways to enlarge the print and some other things on your computer screen. Now, this presentation is based on XP, which is what is on my computer, although the same general principles and capabilities are available on other editions of Windows. If you are a member of the Seniors Computer Group, you can get a copy of this presentation on a CD and take it home and play it on your own computer by bringing me a blank CD and letting me put this presentation on it. So, what are the ways that we can change things to see our screen better? Well, there are several methods. The first one is to simply change the print size. There are lots of ways to do that, but in many programs, the easiest is to hold down the Control key and roll the mouse wheel if you have one on your mouse. I'm doing that now. And in this particular program, what I have done by rotating that mouse wheel is to change the zoom from 100% where it was up to 130. And if I continue doing that, let's say up to 150, and then click OK, the text gets even bigger. And if I click View and go to Zoom and go to 200% and click OK, it gets bigger still. That is one way. Actually, that's two ways to increase the size of the print on your screen. Here is another program, Internet Explorer, where if I hold down the Control key and move the mouse wheel, it will change the text size. In that particular case, in this program, what it is doing is under View, it is changing the size from medium to larger or to largest. And that is the way it jumps as you move the mouse wheel. In Microsoft Excel, you can use the mouse wheel to change the zoom factor, which can get it up to something like 200% instead of 100%. And in fact, beyond that, you can go and use the custom box to 300%, or even using the mouse wheel or the custom box, you can get it up to 400%, which is pretty good size type. And in many programs, you can change the type size by finding, or change what you see on your screen by finding the font size place on your toolbar and highlighting the printing that you want to increase in size and changing that to something very large. Of course, one of the things you can do on any document is to take the text that you want to see a little better and bold it. Makes it easier to see. Now let's talk about a second method of seeing things better on your screen. If you go to Start, Programs, and Accessories, you will find a whole section on accessibility for people that have impaired vision, impaired hearing, or impaired mobility. We're going to deal just with the impaired vision today. So you go to Start, and then you go to Programs, and then you go up to Accessories, which is at the top, and you see over here in the next column Accessibility, and when you get there it brings up another column that has these various things. An accessibility wizard, I'll come back to that in a minute, a magnifier, that's what I'm going to do now, and a narrator, which I will talk about in a little bit. So let's click Magnifier. When we do that, it turns on Magnifier. And then, when I hold my cursor over any place in the text, it shows that text up at the top, greatly magnified. This is probably a useful enough function so that and someone who might use it often, who would need it, should go over here to where Magnifier is and make a copy of it over on the Start menu just above Programs. If I hold down my right mouse button and drag this shortcut over to the Start menu and down to just above Programs and then let go, the computer will ask me if I want to move that shortcut here or copy it here. I want to keep it in the other place, so I want to make a copy of it here. And when I do, the computer will put, when it finishes, will put a shortcut right above Programs for Magnifier. And I can start that program here. Now let's go back and look at that accessibility wizard. We go to the Start menu and Programs and Accessories and Accessibility, and then we click on the top menu item, Accessibility Wizard. And the wizard which will come up and tell me that it helps us configure windows for our vision, hearing, and mobility needs. And when I click Next, it will give us a menu that lets us choose the size of text that you can read more easily. And if you click the one at the bottom and then click Next, you will get not only larger text in not the programs, but in the Windows components of those programs, and you will get Magnifier. And here you see that the Accessibility Wizard has put check marks in the box that says Change the font size. And that is the font size for Windows title bars, menus, and other features. Those are these things up here and here. It does not increase the size of the text inside Windows here, which of course is what we were doing with either the zoom or the mouse wheel or the font size for the text. It also says that we're using Microsoft Magnifier. And then, as we go through with the wizard to the next screen, it gives you the option of making a statement that you are blind or have difficulty seeing things on the screen. And if you do that, you get a few more options when you go to the next window. You can have window border sizes larger by clicking these various sizes of window boxes. And then when you go on to the next box, you can change icon sizes, for example, by clicking that. And then when you go on to the next box, you can choose different ways of contrasting the windows that you see, either in color or in black or in white, whatever works best for you. You can select a mouse cursor size and a mouse cursor color. You can change the blink rate on your cursor. You can change the width of your cursor. As I slide this up, the cursor will get bigger. And when I get all done, I can click Finish and keep those settings. Now, I'm not going to click Finish. I'm going to click Cancel and undo any changes so that I can continue with this presentation with things at the normal size. Now, there is one more thing that's rather interesting on the accessibility menu, and that is the Narrator. Here is the Narrator, and when I turn it on, it reads on-screen text, dialog boxes, menus, and buttons allowed if speakers or a sound output device is installed. So when I turn this on, it's going to start reading things. It does not read text in Microsoft Word, but it does in WordPad. I'll demonstrate.
Foreground window, Microsoft Narrator. OK, push button to press, use space bar. Foreground window, foreground window, Microsoft Narrator. OK, push button to press, use space bar. Foreground window, Narrator. Help, push button to press, use space bar. Foreground window. How to see your screen better. Black Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word document. Camtasia record. Foreground window. Document WordPad. Editable text. Now is the time for all good men to come to the aid of their party. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Tooltip, print.
Now there is one more thing that someone who needs this sort of assistance should do, and that is to go to this link here, www.microsoft.com/enable. And when you go there, you find a very, very interesting website which has all sorts of information and all sorts of capabilities. You can click on all sorts of things around here, demos and tutorials. You can click over here on information for seniors, which brings you back to some of these demos and tutorials. Let's just try one or two. Here's demos of accessibility in Windows. And I'm going to pick Windows XP. And I'm going to click a particular demo for display and appearance.
Welcome to the Microsoft Windows XP Display and Appearance demo. In this demonstration, you'll learn about accessibility options to modify your screen display and appearance so that items on screen are easier to see and access. This demonstration shows how to choose font style, color, and size of items on the desktop, large icons and shortcut keys, screen resolution and high contrast schemes, cursor width and blink rate.
And I won't go through a lot of that because you can play it for yourself, and it is the sort of thing that you should sit down and study if this kind of improvement to your display is important to you. So we have talked about changing the print size in many programs by using the Control plus the mouse wheel. We've talked about changing text size. We've talked about zooming. We've talked about using bold. We've talked about the various things that you can find on the accessibility menu like Magnifier and Narrator. And we've given you the website for lots of information from Microsoft about improving abilities. I hope this has been useful.